If I were to be diagnosed with cancer, in a town of 14,000, I could receive cancer treatment in Bartow, Florida. There's a cancer treatment facility there that will handle standard treatment protocols. But they don't deliver babies anymore. They haven't delivered babies there in 3 years because medical malpractice is so high they can't get an OB-GYN to come into Bartow, Florida. Well, something's wrong with that. Something's wrong when you can't do something as simple as have a physician present to deliver a baby. It's been going on a long time, and yet you can support economically a radiation treatment device in a city of 14,000. It boggles the mind. So there are things that we can do to improve this system and to bring more people into care and to help lower costs by lowering the cost of defensive medicine, by lowering the legal liabilities, by infusing a little bit of technology that all of you use every day. You know, the idea of electronic medical records is just now catching on. And yet, at Bartow Elementary Academy, my second grader can go pull a book off the shelf on her own without the assistance of a librarian, walk up to the checkout desk, pull the little ray gun, which is what she calls it, out of the holster, shoot the barcode, she rips off the receipt that's printed without another adult being present. My 8-year-old now knows that Ramona is due back in 2 weeks, and the school now knows that my daughter has Ramona Quimby, age 8. Now, in medicine, for our friends and neighbors who come down here for 6 months and spend 6 months in Michigan or Ohio or New York, if they wanted to bring their medical files, it would be as high as my shoulder. So there are things that we can do to modernize that system. But having the government take it over is not my idea of modernizing that system. Card check. Allowing someone to come into your business and just sign a card to unionize your franchise, your branch, your manufacturing facility with no secret ballot. The same secret ballot, it was so important in Florida that we made a national fool of ourselves with guys with magnifying glass trying to discern whether a Chad was pregnant, dimpled, leaning, bulging, hanging, all of these things. And it's funny now, it wasn't funny then, but we did that because every secret ballot mattered. And they would take that away in the workplace. That's not a fluid change. That's not a dynamic shift in public policy. That's an order of magnitude shift in public policy, and it's the wrong way to go for America. And finally, the silent majority is silent no more. August may just have changed the direction of our country. The simple town hall meeting where people cram into school cafeterias and libraries and community centers and community college auditoriums. August of this year may have been the tipping point when the silent majority said no more and the Congress finally had to listen to the will of the American people as it relates to health care reform. I believe the American people have won this battle, and I believe that health care reform will not survive the August recess as it's currently written. But it's important that we stay engaged because not everybody would cheer at that statement. Not everybody agrees with that, and they're Americans too. And they have congressmen who have votes also, and right now they have more votes than we do. So we need to make sure that we stay on top of this issue and guarantee that we don't socialize medicine, but that we do make the necessary reforms. But this fall is going to be an interesting time to see how they respond. Do they say, we heard from you, we listened to the American people, and we've scaled back our ambitions? That's not what Chuck Schumer said last Sunday. Or do they say, we're not going to let a bunch of right-wing nuts block our progressive agenda. We're going to move forward however we can, even if it means changing all the rules. And if they thought that August was a hot month, wait till they see what happens if that's what they do. I mean, that will be a incendiary move if that's what they choose to do. These are all critically important issues at the national level, and they all impact Florida. But I also believe Florida, in and of itself, has tremendous challenges and tremendous opportunities. I don't need to dwell on the challenges that Florida's economy faces. I mean, you all know people who have lost their jobs, whose businesses are hurting. You know people who own more condos than they'd like to. You know people who are upside down in their mortgages. We all understand that. Leaders aren't supposed to help share the problem with you. They're supposed to help you solve the problem. So let's talk about that. 5 years from now, would you rather be a Floridian with all of the intrinsic strengths that reside in our state, or would you rather be from Michigan, or California, or Ohio, or New York, or New Jersey? I mean, those are all states who, for all the troubles that Florida has had with our real estate sector, they're in far worse shape than we are. And we are better positioned to rebound from this great recession than any of them are. California's cut almost as much from their budget as our budget is. But you know, the striking thing about a state like California, and I learned this when I chaired the subcommittee on technology a long time ago in the Congress. We went out and we hit all the major tech industries. And what struck me was how terribly unfriendly California is from a business perspective, and yet they thrive despite that. And I would say to each of these CEOs and directors of development and chief technology officers, why do you stay in California? Your taxes are exorbitant, you can't afford to buy a house, your energy costs are high, they regulate everything there is. What is it about California that makes you endure all that garbage to be here? And they said higher education. The ideas, the cluster of a constant stream of the brightest talent on the planet is right here. There's a lesson in that for the home of the University of South Florida. There's a lesson in that for the home of 11 great universities in our state. There's a lesson in that we need to continue to invest in those engines of economic development. When you look at what businesses are willing to tolerate if they know that they're getting a good product in higher education, we've got a lot to be proud of in the state of Florida. An awful lot to be proud of. But those things take time. So how do we come out of this stronger than we went into it?